Microsoft has AMD's answer to Nvidia's DLSS, BMW is making an AI gaming chair, and Newegg might be stealing your GPUs in order to build PCs. Let's get into the hot news, everybody. I'm your Brett host. We're going to be going over the hottest tech news that I can find on the internet, starting talking about Microsoft and their upcoming direct machine learning enhancements that they're looking to bring to not only video games on the PC, but also to their consoles. This is coming out of some job listings that they put for senior software engineer and principal software engineer for graphics, which sound like pretty normal job titles that you would expect for a company that has a gaming console. But when you read more through it, it turns out that their expectations are to implement machine learning algorithms in graphics software to delight millions of gamers, and while working closely with partners to develop software for future machine learning hardware. So this is likely speaking directly about AMD, especially since AMD has heavy partnership with Microsoft in the Xbox consoles. This isn't something that's entirely brand new. Microsoft talked a lot about their upcoming DirectML, especially with regards to DirectX 12 Ultimate and how this is a feature that should be coming out. But what is worth noting is that these job listings happen coinciding with AMD's announcements of FSR. With FSR getting released, Microsoft put these job postings out there, so looking like FSR is just the first step. And if you look at what AMD's Fidelity FX Super Resolution does for video games, it's not quite to the same place that Nvidia's DLSS is, because it uses machine learning to upscale and thereby can give you either the same or sometimes even better detail even from a lower resolution image that it's upscaling. Whereas AMD's FSR is better than traditional upscaling methods, but it's not the machine learning. This could be a big enhancement that could come out sometime in the next few years. It looks like AMD is not resting on their laurels, and if this is open for the entire Windows platform as well as on the Xbox Series X, we could start to see that this is rolled out in a whole lot of games, and we're not just beholden to Nvidia and whether or not they're going to be able to put DLSS into the video games that they want to. Which, speaking of, I don't have this in the notes, but Red Dead Redemption 2 is getting DLSS on July 13th in case that interests you. Let me know if you're interested in DirectML, Microsoft and AMD teaming up to take on the Nvidia Green Giant, and you should take on yourself by buying our today's video sponsor, which that's an awkward segue to talk about the fact that we've got pillows. You want to buy some hot news pillows? Well, surprise, they're UFD Tech pillows as well. I had Reece create these for the new office that I'm setting up here in Pennsylvania. I absolutely love them. You might want to consider picking them up for your couch, your living situation, or whatever you're doing. We'll have them linked down below in case you're interested in picking up our new Hot News UFD merch pillows. And while we're updating things here at Hot News, Microsoft's also updating things for Windows 11. You're used to the blue screen of death, but now it has it so that if you do something wrong, not every time, but you might get a black screen of death. Look at this. This is so more morbid and dark and like painful to look at. Like the blue, it was at least kind of bright and made me feel like, okay, this is gonna be fine. This makes it look like the Grim Reaper just decided to slash my PC out of existence. Microsoft, please, don't give me a black screen. It's still a BSOD, but it's a painful one. What's also painful is the fact that if you have a printer spooler on your computer, which basically everybody does, it's been vulnerable for a little bit, but Microsoft now has patched that out with the PrintNightmare now being issued a critical security update onto operating systems that they've already stopped supporting with security updates. You got things such as Windows 7 getting support, as well as Windows Server 2012 R2, Windows Server 2008, but there are a few things that haven't quite been patched yet, such as just the regular Windows Server 2012, Server 2016, and Windows 10 version 1607. Those are still missing the security patch, and we'll have to have it in a future update. But in case you're on one of the supported ones, go patch your computer. Otherwise, you can't print things. Actually, that's the least of your concerns. And what's the least of my concerns? Cryptostonks. Let's get into it. This is not financial advice, my friends. There was water. Whoopsies. Bitcoin up 1.93% on the day to be at $34,600 as of the time of filming. Ethereum up 2% to be at $2,300. Dogecoin down 0.3%, just continuing that slip slide, down to 23 cents. Meme stonks, GameStop down another 10 $10 almost, down 4.5% to close at $190 and going down even further in after hours. AMC down also 10% to close at $45.07. It's been a rough roller coaster for Cryptostonks. We'll see what the next few days, weeks, months have in store for us. And what Ubisoft has in store for us is an Assassin's Creed franchise that is just littered with money grabs. And that's exactly what the latest thing is, at least in my estimation. You can let me know your opinion down below. But Assassin's Creed Infinity is going to be one of the next upcoming games in the Assassin's Creed franchise, which will be a live service game akin to Fortnite or GTA Online, because boy howdy, that's where you get your cash. It's gonna have multiple connected settings that may look and play differently, but it's so that they can get that live service money. There's a reason GTA 6 hasn't come out yet, and that's because GTA Online is still making them billions of dollars. While Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Valhalla gave people a breath of fresh air in the Assassin's Creed franchise, it still looks like Ubisoft is the company that's behind it, and not much is really gonna change there. They do some games like decently. I said like Rainbow Six Siege has continued to get good game updates. The first Division also did get a lot of good live service support. Those are less like Fortnite and just more like online multiplayer. I don't want to crap on it to begin with, but I don't trust this. I don't trust Ubisoft, and I don't see that this is necessarily a good idea for them. But let me know what you think of Assassin's Creed Infinity down below in the comments. And you want to let your employer know, or your prospective employer, that you're looking to get hired. If you want to do that, you can do it on TikTok now, because they're testing US users being able to apply for jobs with video resumes on TikTok. This is part of a dedicated resume website that they have where you can apply for a bunch of different jobs, which includes companies like Shopify, Target, and the Detroit Pistons. Big name there, I think. I don't know. I don't pay attention to hockey ball. I think this makes sense in like a couple of areas, especially if it's like for a social media manager to like showcase that you do know how to interact with the TikTok platform. But as far as like just general, like I want to be a Target retail employee, why? Why do I have to do a TikTok dance for you? I'm not your zoo animal. And in an article that would have gone better next to the Assassin's Creed one, we're going to talk about Amazon and how they're open sourcing their in-house game engine, which has always been free to use since their implementation, but now they're making it open source, which I don't know if this bodes well for the upcoming games that Amazon is making with their game studios. Those haven't been well received. There's just been a ton of issues that's surrounding them. So is this a good move? Is this like an expected move? Or are they planning on doing this all along? Or are they trying to get more developer buy-in so that they don't screw up and lose millions of dollars on a failed development platform? Who knows? We'll find out. And China's gonna find out if you're a child on the internet past midnight, okay? You better stop, okay? Midnight Patrol's coming for you, children. Hide your children. This is part of a government curfew that the Chinese government implemented back in 2019, which used to require gamers to link their official IDs with just the internet to make sure that they're not online past when they're supposed to be. But kids got around that, as children do, by using their parents' ID. And adults are allowed on the internet after midnight in China, I guess. I wouldn't take that for granted. So China is now going to start requiring facial recognition software on your computer in order to verify the fact that you're not a little wee 17-year-old on the internet playing Fortnite past your bedtime. Stop it, Jimmy. Okay, I see you. Go to bed. All right, 11 p.m. is way too late for you. You need more rest. Okay, you're gonna shorten your growth. You're not gonna have a growth spurt anymore, Jimmy. And Jimmy, you're not gonna be able to sit in this AI gaming chair. No. BMW RivalWorks announcing their, yes, I said it, AI gaming chair, which is just, I guess, like, if it decides to get mad, will the AI just like squash you in half, just like collapse you into a sandwich? I don't know. What I do know is that this looks like a monstrous thing that likely will never go on sale. It's gonna use the AI and machine learning to like adjust the posture and all of the settings to make sure that if you've been sitting at the chair for a while, it's actually attuning itself to your body and not doing the whole anti-scorpion situation. They're also gonna have cooling fans to make sure that you stay nice and frosty as you're doing your video games. But again, this is likely just a concept piece, and I'm not a millionaire, so I won't be able to actually go and check one out. Linus, help us out. review this bad boy. And a non-tech decided to review the bad boys over at OnePlus, with them finding out that OnePlus is throttling the performance of their phones by quite a lot in some instances in order to preserve battery life. When you fold apps like Geekbench to making it look like it's running as Chrome or Twitter, it got throttled quite heavily by OnePlus's firmware. This is obviously so that they can preserve battery life, but is a little misleading when you see benchmarks that showcase that your phone is this fast, but only when using select applications. And if it finds out that you're not using a benchmarking application, well, boy, you're getting the limited crap, okay? You paid for a Snapdragon 888 Plus? No, you get garbage. You should have thought about that before you bought OnePlus. And now we got to think about whether or not Newegg's going to try to hide GPUs, CPUs, and all that from us, because they're announcing their on-demand assembly of custom PCs, their ENIAC program. The name of the service obviously being named after the first programmable electronic computer. But what Newegg has hidden up his sleeve is not the fact that you have to wait 7 to 10 days in order for them to take the components that you selected and turn it into a gaming PC that they ship to you, which on the surface sounds like a nice service. People want to pick up components, they don't necessarily want to put it together. Newegg's going to do that for you. Totally fine there, except for the caveats in the terms and services, which says that they're going to paywall some hot items behind this service exclusively. So things like the GPUs that you've been waiting to get your hands on might be locked behind a full PC build paywall from Newegg. Newegg's website says that the hot items that will qualify for this holding behind the ENIAC paywall will change throughout the day potentially, but if they continue to be hot, they will still be behind that paywall and make it so that you can only get them if you want a full PC, especially if they're in limited supply for weeks, months, or even potentially years, depending on how long this shortage goes on. Obviously, this is something like their Newegg Shuffle program where you have to enter in order to purchase it, and it's typically being bundled with something else, but this seems like the next additional step. This isn't something necessarily that I'd be upset about just from the get-go. However, I would be cautious that they would stop selling some parts direct to consumer and only make it so that they get the full assembly going on. They get that extra profit from the computers being put together and make it so that the everyman who just needs a GPU upgrade for the love of but geez, ain't gonna get it because you didn't buy a full PC from ENIAC. But did you need a CPU upgrade? Well, it turns out a lot of you did, and you went to Intel, probably because they were in stock for the good portion of 2021, whereas AMD was a little harder to get. Steam hardware survey indicating that Intel is reclaiming some of the market share that was stolen by AMD. Not by much, it's now over 70%. They still have the lion's share of CPUs on Steam hardware survey. It's not really indicative of sales or volume of sales or like revenue or anything like that. It just means that more people on Steam are registering Intel CPUs. And I'm registering that you didn't watch yesterday's episode of Hot News about the Ethereum hash rate crash. You should go check that out right over there. And even if you did watch it a second time. See if you find an Easter egg or two. July, I don't know why there would be an Easter egg. We put a Independence Day egg. Laid one of those. Makes as much sense as a bunny. All right, I'm done.